Well, Mom, we're in kind of an economic downturn right now, and we thought it'd be a good time for you to talk a little bit about your experiences in the Great Depression. I'm here with Judy, by
Yeah.
the way.
Well, it was it was disheartening, you know. I'd had 1 year in college and would have been a sophomore the next year, and Deanie would be a senior the next year. So
Talk to Judy. I'm right here, Mom.
I stayed at home and let her finish, and she got a job right after she finished and worked at Duke University Women's College for 40-some years from that day on. And I stuck around home and helped Mama, you know, cook and clean and all that sort of stuff. And in the afternoons, I would go down to Aunt Sally's and help her with her children, and or go visit Aunt Irma, who was very interesting. She did a lot of wonderful sewing and gardening and had a rock garden. She did a lot of pretty things, and I just fooled around town and down at the store.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that store during this time.
Well, it was a big, just country general store in a small town. They sold everything, beautiful piece goods. We could sew all sorts of dresses and such because we could just go down and cut off whatever we needed.
Yeah. Well, how was it affected by the Depression, the store?
Well, I don't remember. People didn't have money. It made it different because there were 3 cotton mills in town. This is not not going like it was, Carol.
Well, just talk about the mills. You said they...
This,
it cut out?
It's...
Oh, it went dark, Mom. That's okay. That's okay.
Oh,
Don't.
well, the 3 mills closed down one by one. And a lot of those people had bought groceries, you know, on credit at the store. And then when they didn't have money and couldn't charge their food, it got real bad.
Yeah.
And a lot of people up in the mountains didn't have a way to make any money during the Depression, and some of them would come down. And there were cotton mills in the county. Some of them would get jobs there. And when Gastonia got its first stoplight, a cop was standing on the corner in Gastonia, and a big old truck loaded with a family and all their belongings, and the officer called out. They ran right through the red light. They didn't know it meant to stop.
Oh.
And the policeman yelled at them, "Where do you think you're going?" And there was an old grandmother sitting in a rocking chair back with the furniture.
Oh.
And she yelled out, "We're moving to Kannapolis." That was a big cotton mill.
Oh,
They make cannon stuff. So after that, anytime somebody was going somewhere, somebody asked, "Where are you going?" "Oh, we're moving to Kannapolis." So
what were some of the things?
What were some of the what?
Things you did during the Depression? You didn't have any money. What'd you do to save money?
We'd put maybe a quarter's worth of gas in somebody's car and just drive until we ran out of gas and wait till somebody came by to help. Or give us a ride. Just crazy stuff. And
was Papa able to keep the store?
Yeah, he did for a long time. I think I was married and living out here when he finally
Oh.
had to close it or something. I've forgotten just when that was. But I remember Lib sent me a pair of little black stockings, little tiny things for a newborn baby. They used to wear, he sold some black stockings with tiny feet.
Why'd Lib send them to you? For Judy?
She just wanted me to see them.
Oh.
Because by that time nobody was using black clothes for children.
Yeah.
So I don't remember just when that was, but must have been in early 40s.
Well, what did you and Daddy do to save money when you moved to Lincoln right after you were married?
Well, oh gosh, it was hot. We were looking for an apartment, and real estate people would take us into upstairs apartments that had been closed up on 110 degree days for weeks, and just take your breath. And then they'd show us basement apartments where people had wet towels hanging over the open windows to try to cool down things. But we finally found an ad and went to a house out in University Place. It was a brick home with shade trees all around it. And the lady lived downstairs and we lived upstairs. The whole place was furnished upstairs for an apartment, 1 bedroom, and a large living room that went all across the front of the house with the dining table. And I think the kitchen had been made out of a closet or something. It was so small. It was so small that I was about the only one who'd get in there, and we had to get a small size refrigerator. But it was cool, the coolest place we'd looked at. So we stayed there a couple of years until just before Judy was to be born. We rented a little 2-bedroom house.
Oh.
And lived there, 3777 Sumner. We lived there for 5 years, and that was the time of the war. And Bob thought the Navy had been after him because he was a civil engineer, and he'd been getting letters wanting they would make him an officer if he would join the Navy.
Well, Mom, we're on about 8 minutes. We're getting a little long, so you want to think maybe that'd be a story for another movie.
Okay.
Okay, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye, everybody. Wish you were here.